Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Through the Lens. I am Steven Segal, as you may know or may not know. I'm not the movie star or the karate expert. I'm just a photographer, content creator, videographer. Content creator pretty much sums it up. So those of you that are out there, it's so great to see some of you coming back in. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining. Those of you that are out there, Emmy, so good to have you on board. Great seeing you streaming and seeing you up and going. I love watching your channel and seeing what you're up to. We're going to definitely get you on as soon as possible. But as you can see how Emmy just sent out a message there, please feel free to send a message to our audience or ask me a question throughout the show. It's all about helping the industry grow, the industry learn, and to know a little bit more behind the scenes. A lot of the time we find out, what settings, what gear people use, but sometimes you need to know what the person's about that actually drives that business forward. So that's what this is all about, and that's what I'm trying to achieve, obviously, with Through the Lens, is to be able to give you an insight into the companies, brands that are out there. What are they thinking? What are they doing? As well as some of the creators, some of the top creators in the country and obviously around the world. You saw that I caught up with Drew Williams, that was from the States. Phenomenal interest. I mean, we were chatting to Elvin Wong from Zune and that kind of thing. So it has got far reach, and I want to try and get as many creators and as many brands and as many companies on here to be able to give their stories and to be able to motivate us, driving through this COVID situation. It is difficult. It really is difficult. But the shining light at the end of the tunnel is that there is work for creators. There is content creation is king right now. Online is where it's happening, and people need content. So let's get you some ideas with regards to the content and what we're looking at. I see Craig Anderson also joining. How's it, Craig? Great to have you on. Thank you so much for joining as well and giving a shout out. It's that easy, just sending us a message. For those of you that are out there, I am streaming on Facebook. I am going to be doing it once or twice more, but then everything will be moving on to YouTube. I want to push everything there. You'll see that some of the product reviews that I'm going to be doing are going to be coming up there, and as well as some other kind of specials. So make sure that you go and subscribe on my YouTube channel. You'll also see links to our brand spotlight this evening, as well as our new and review. So various different things will be on the YouTube side of things, where it won't be on Facebook. So make sure you go and have a look there. All right, so let's quickly check who's jumped on. We've got Gareth as well. Hey, Mr. Fisher, great to see you on board. There we go, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya. Hey, Martin, great to have you. Thank you for sending a shout out. Okay, so let's start out with the show and let's get things going. The first thing that we're going to chat about is the industry news. So those of you that are out there, industry news is all about what's happening and what's new in the industry. So right now, Sigma apparently launched their 100-400. It's the Sony E mount. So that's Sigma just launching that 100-400. So have a look at that in stores. I will be, when I'm chatting to Gareth about the new lenses, about Sigma and the brands that he carries, then obviously we can dive into that. Then we've got Fuji that's announced on the 23rd of June, a webcam firmware for the XA7 and the XT200. That is for Windows operating system. So if you've got Windows and you want to check that out, that is the new webcam firmware. And then Sony has got their new vlogging camera that's obviously been announced, which is a ZV-1. That's surely going to be hitting our shores quite soon. And then lastly, I was part of quite a nice initiative. Nikon in Middle East launched, a Nikon home video competition. And the winner was announced announced last week. I made the announcement. And I'd love to show you, the winner that actually got the grand prize. There are entries from around Middle East, Africa, South Africa included, Nigeria, Kenya, UAE. It was just phenomenal to see the entries. And I just want to show you the person that won. Phenomenal guy, really down to earth, superb. So I'm going to quickly show you his video that got him that grand prize, and a big well done all the way out from Nigeria. Let's just play his. That's him that won it. And then we have got his video.
My name is Emeka. I got injured while representing my school at a football competition. My sister Aidan takes care of me. We hope that someday soon I will be strong on my feet again. Before then, I need to keep fit and exercise, so I chose to dance. It is not easy, but that is the only way I can keep fit while at home.
So that was the winning video that came in. So just to give you a little bit of background, it was all about shooting a story or video about staying at home during this COVID lockdown and what, you know, your impression or interpretation of staying home was. And that was the word video out from Nigeria. Congratulations to the winner there, Bidu. You did a great job and beating out a couple of 100 entries. So that was all the way from Nigeria, and well done to him. All right, so that was some of the news that has been around in the industry. The next thing I just want to quickly check up, I've got a couple of people coming in. Charles, yeah, I see it. Yeah. It was so cold and I had to throw on something, so I got my MSI jacket on 100%. And Reynard, I see you jumped on there as well. All right, so the next thing that we are going to be looking at with regards to that was news of the industry and about the industry and what's happening. Then new and review. Now, the big thing with new and review is obviously a new product highlight that I really think should be highlighted and something that's really cool and great. It is a product from a company called Hollyland. So it is the Mars400s. They have just launched the Mars X, which is a phenomenal piece of equipment. But let me show you quickly the video of the Mars400s, and then I'll tell you a little bit more about it before we move on next. So those of you that are out there, new in review, this is the Hollyland Mars400s, a beautiful transceiver receiving unit from Hollyland. Absolutely love it. I got sent it. And can I tell you, it changed my life when it came to video. Now, normally what happens is I'm streaming, obviously, from my Nikon camera over there through into, obviously, I've got a Blackmagic connector, or you can use a cam link. And then normally my second or third camera, now you're going to have so many wires and cables feeding into, obviously, your input or to your desk. Whereas with these, you just link one up to your camera and the other one to wherever you need it. And literally you connect it through wirelessly. It sets at 1080p, phenomenal, good quality. You'll see, and it holds that link phenomenally. The other thing that's really great about it is you can connect it up to your smart devices. So if you're busy videoing and you need the art director or the creative director or whoever your client is to be away from you while you're doing the shoot, let me tell you, these are the ones you want to have a look at. And I will be doing a review on them, so make sure you go and have a look at my YouTube where I dive into these Mars400s. And yeah, funny enough, can you believe, obviously we've got Kevin Singer that's going to be coming up soon, and his company distributes Hollyland in the country. It is, I promise you, a big coincidence, but it's just a product that I had to show you. They've also got the Mars X, so go and have a look at that. Phenomenal transceiver receiver unit. All right, so next up, we've moved on from new and review. We're going to be chatting about the upcoming new rising star. So those of you that are out there that would like to be featured as the rising star. Remember, we have brands, we have the heads of brands, CEOs of companies, brand managers, marketing managers, all watching the show and coming onto the show, and they are looking for the next up and coming talent. And so if you want to be showcased on as the new up and coming star, make sure you email me. I'll send all the details at the bottom so that you can get hold of me. So our rising star for now that I'm going to introduce you to is a gent by the name of Aidan Jordaan. He's doing some amazing stuff. He's shooting both stills and video. He's just been signed up as a creator, Z creator with Nikon, and he's got some great things happening. So Aidan Jordaan is our new up and coming rising star. I'm going to quickly show you some of his work on Instagram quickly, just so you can have a look at it. Let's do that. So there's Aidan's work there. You'll see. Okay, so those of you, that is Aidan Jordaan, our highlight for this show here. So those of you that go and check him out, he has got some great work and he is on the up and coming list. All right, so let's move on. And now we move on to the great part, is where we chat to our brand spotlight. Now, our brand spotlight is with Kevin Singer. He's the CEO of Singer Photographic. Those of you that don't know Singer Photographic, of course you all know Singer Photographic. They've got amazing brands like Manfrotto, Tamron, Low Pro, Peak Design, Xeon, as well, Boya, Ceramonic, Joby, Energize. I want to make sure I get all of them. Ellencrom. I mean, that Singer Photographic has got it. When it comes to the top brands, this is the company that's doing it right now. And I'm very fortunate and I'm really grateful to have Kevin Singer join me this evening. Thank you so much. I'm going to bring him onto the show right now. So Kevin, how are you? And welcome to the show.
Hi, Steve. Yeah, good. Thanks. And thanks very much for having me on the show and for your kind words there.
Oh, no, it's only true. That's the thing. I try and keep away from things when I don't mean it. And really, congratulations. Your company is phenomenal. Your brands that you distribute are even, they're great. I mean, it's all around, and it's great to have you on board. So tell me, what's been happening? What's been happening? Look, I mean, lockdown, how's it affected? Yeah.
Obviously had a big impact on our business. For the first 2 weeks in April, we were completely locked down. And after that, we were able to open up. We sell Energizer batteries, are one of our main product lines. And, batteries are an essential product. So fortunately, we were able to open up and start to sell batteries, but really on a very limited scale. It had a big impact on our business. We probably, in April, did about 10% of what we would normally do.
Okay.
But, we were fortunate in May with certain broadcast services being allowed. We were able to sell a broader range of products, and that helped us a bit. And this month it's definitely not back to normal, but we've seen a big improvement. Once online retail was allowed, and once the bigger retailers were allowed to sell online, that's really boosted up our business. But just a long way to go to get back to normal.
100%. I mean, that's the thing. It's really difficult.
What the new normal will be.
Yeah, that's actually very true. It's going to be interesting to see. But now tell me, I mean, your company is phenomenal. Where did it start, and how did you begin? Where did Singer Photographic start, and how did it begin? Sorry, I just repeated myself, but I'm just really keen to find out.
Yeah, look, that's, it goes back a long time. The company was started 40 years ago by my parents. So, I was a lot younger then and wasn't involved, in the initial stages. But, my grandfather was a photographer. My father was a photographer. And he landed up, getting involved in the photographic industry on what was the wholesale side of the industry in those days, and in his previous company worked with Manfrotto, but it was very much a different world then. So the main focus then was on lamps for slide projectors and movie projectors. Products that don't exist anymore. So that was before my time and my involvement in the business. But fortunately, we still do sell Manfrotto, and we actually still do sell a few lamps, more for medical and dental purposes.
Oh wow! So obviously you do a lot more than what I've just mentioned, which is interesting. I saw Red Bull somewhere in there as well. How did the company? Would you say? I mean, where did you see? I don't know if you're part of it,
Yeah.
but I mean, any business to do well, and I mean, and those of you that are watching this, whether you're a photographer, videographer, content creator, or you're selling brands, whatever, it's business in the bottom line. And for business to be successful and to do well, there has to be some magic. There has to be something behind it. What do you think is your secret to success and what you're doing, what your company's doing?
Well, you know what? I think we've been fortunate to be involved with, great brands. If you look at a Manfrotto, that relationship goes back, more than 35 years. And I think we've had to do much the same as they have, that you need to adapt. It's a completely different market now. And we've seen a lot of brands come and go. But just to try and adapt, keep on looking at trends in the market, look for new opportunities, stay focused on just different distribution channels. From a retail point of view, it's a very, very different market now to what it was. At one stage, I think there were 1,200 mini labs in the country, and for Kodak were a big player, and Fuji had a lot of labs, and that was a big part of our business, selling to those labs. So then it's obviously changed a lot. So just to keep on moving with the times and adapt.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, yeah. And I mean, it's not easy, and this is another big adaptation here. But I mean, what I've seen is that you've picked up brands like, obviously, I've seen Hollyland. I see you using Vibesta as well lights. I'm really enjoying the Vibesta lights. To be honest, what's nice is obviously you can put that NPF battery on for extra power. But I mean, you kind of pivoted and you followed the trend. Especially you got Xeon. That's I mean, what videographer doesn't have a stable gimbal right now? I mean, those decisions are key factors with regards to it.
Yes. Yeah. Look, I mean, we have Xeon, Boya, Saramonic. We've taken on Aperture recently, as just in your little presentation there, Hollyland as well. So, the trend has been that there's been more growth in video, probably over the last couple of years, than in stills. And a lot of Chinese, new Chinese brands have come onto the market and done pretty well. We're fortunate to have relationships with some of them. But our core brands, most of them have been around for a long time and have stayed strong. Manfrotto, Lowepro, Tamron. But it is a changing market, and you've got to just keep on looking at what opportunities there are.
I absolutely love it. Now, tell me, with regards to that, where are you seeing the market? Because you kind of led into that, like stills. Are you seeing a big drive into video now? Is that kind of could be a focus, obviously, with regards to your business, or is still alive and kicking?
I think with COVID, stills have maybe suffered, even more than they were. That especially in terms of the consumer market, people aren't traveling, they're not getting to the bush. So you're not going to see lenses selling as well as what they were, or like your long lenses that are quite popular in our market. So there's that change. But the move to video has happened over quite a few years, and it was actually really good to see, at the MediaTek show last year, just the change in the market and the content creators that were there. That show 10 years ago would have been dominated by the broadcast industry, and you'd have had SABC and people who worked at the SABC as being big players. And now you're just getting, so many different people creating content, a lot of younger people. So it was very positive to see for the industry, and your opportunities now with social media. Anybody who's got good content will have an audience. So there are lots more opportunities, especially for video, and it's a lot more affordable than it used to be.
No, absolutely. I see Craig Kaleski jumping in there saying, thank you so much for all the support over the years. So Craig joined in on there. And I got Victor as well that just jumped in as well. So talking about that, I mean, a lot of the time now people want to be associated to brands. And I can understand it, because having that association with certain brands, it does help your profile. It does help potentially build who you are. But bottom line, I mean, I was on a flight before COVID, and I was chatting to a gent that's the head of Sony Music. And he was talking to me, because a lot of people are wanting to know, how do they get sponsored by, Singer Photographic or one of your brands and that kind of thing. What was interesting with Sony is the guy said that they're looking for artists that are pretty much self-made, that they don't really need Sony, but they do want them, that Sony takes them to the next level, or helps them become the next great thing. So from your point of view, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that want to be associated with a lot of your brands, what do you guys look for in creators if you want to associate or you want to work with them? What are some of the key things that some of the people that are watching now could do to be able to maybe have your ears pricked up and see what they can do with you?
Look, I think the first thing and probably the most obvious is the quality of your work. It's got to be good. That's the starting point. You've got to stand out, and through that, develop your own following. And if you're in that position and you have a following and you're able to communicate with them, and also to realize that it's got to be a mutually beneficial relationship. In our case, some of the brand ambassadors we worked with for the longest time, I maybe shouldn't say this, but I think we get far more out of the relationship than they do. They have initiative. They have initiative. It's not a case that we need to constantly be asking for material. You say Craig just dropped in there. He comes up with ideas and is always looking at opportunities to feature a brand or to do a review or something that will work for him. So not just take something just on an arbitrary basis, but something that will really work for him, that he'll benefit from, and then he can share with other people. So that's relationships vary, but for us, we like the long-term relationships where we both benefit from it.
Love it.
But it is, with social media these days, you need to have a following as well. And what I would say to anybody is, get in touch with us if you see an opportunity and you like and use some of our brands, and we can discuss possibilities and opportunities.
Love that. No, that's awesome, and I thank you for that. That's really to the point and what I wanted to hear from that. And I think a lot of people need to hear that. A lot of the time, people feel they're entitled or they're good, but there has to be that mutual beneficial agreement between the two. Kevin, thank you so much for this evening. I have to move on. I love chatting to you. I'm sorry I'm moving on, but I'm definitely going to be chatting to you again soon. This was obviously just to introduce everyone to Singer Photographic, and Kevin yourself. Thank you so much for bringing the brands to us and bringing such amazing brands to us and giving us that opportunity. And it's great to be working with you and to see your side of things and what you've gone through. So I thank you very much for your time this evening.
Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity. And enjoy the rest of the show.
Love it. Thank you. Thank you so much. All the best and have a great evening.
Okay. You too, Steve.
Cheers. Bye. All right, so ladies and gents, that is Kevin Singer, the CEO of Singer Photographic. Phenomenal guy. You must, once you meet him, you'll see so down to earth, really humble, and for what they've created. And I mean, that's just the tip of the iceberg of what the company does. But to be able to have time I phone Kevin up and we can sit down and have a chat, and he's a really, really great guy. And you see it filters through to everyone that works at Singer Photographic. So it's really great to have him on. I'm just got a message here that I want to quickly read here. Personally, the photographic click in his local brands, so seeking out. Let me quickly put it up. I mean, this is what the show is all about. Rich, how are you doing? Good to see you. It's so great to have you, Rich. We are going to get you onto the show for sure. Those of you that are out there, go and have a look at Rich Photography on YouTube. He's got a great channel. He's doing amazing things. One of the top vloggers in South Africa. Got a great following. So go and have a look at Rich Photography on YouTube. always trying to help some friends out there. All right. So now the next person that we have coming on, and I'm going to have to, she's absolutely amazing. Her work speaks for itself. She's just, words can't explain until you see her work. Let me just quickly close this up. All right. So what we're going to do is before she comes on, I'm going to quickly show you a website just to give you an idea of her work. A lot of you do know her. Her name is Ingrid Alice Irsigler. I don't know if I said the name right. She's going to come on and tell me if I did it right, but let's quickly share her website with you so you can have a look. I mean, look at this work. It is absolutely phenomenal. It's just, I'm so excited to have her on. Her latest work is also phenomenal. So those of you, I would really like to welcome onto our show, or this show, a phenomenal creator. She's blushing, I'm sure, in the back there, because she's also so humble and so great. And that's the key with regards to the people that I welcome onto the show. It's people that I really think deserve to be put out in front of everyone and deserve what they are getting. And that's greatness that she has. So welcome here, Ingrid. How are you? Great to see you.
Thank you for having me. This is so exciting. It's amazing. It's amazing. I got to get dressed up, put some makeup on. This is fantastic.
It's date night, eh?
It's so exciting. I promise you, this is like the most exciting thing that's happened to me in ages. So thank you so much.
I'm so happy for you, and I'm so happy for you to be on the show. It's really, I've been following your work and obviously seeing some of the stuff that you've been doing, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. So we are going to dive into it, but it's so thank you for your time. And it's one of the big things that I think people don't realize is that asking someone of their time is more valuable than asking anything else, because it's a one commodity we can't buy. So Ingrid, I'm so excited to be chatting to you and to be sharing the world with you. So let's see what we can come up with during the show.
Okay,
all right. So are you ready? The first question is, I'm just joking, man. Yeah. I'm just joking. So tell me, what you've been up to? I mean, let's face it. This COVID's been interesting. What are you up to?
My goodness. So COVID for me has been long, I think. It's just the same as everybody else, because I like shooting. I want to be out there in the mornings with the sun and the rain and the snow and 5 o'clock. And so it's definitely been a time of introspective. I think when it started, we were all it felt almost like, oh, it's fine. It'll be sort of here for a little bit and whatnot. And then there was quite a lot of kind of almost energy around it. Like people were doing quite cool things and whatever. And I was getting more and more stressed out, because I was like, you need to do something. And then I was like, but what do I need to do? It's like, no, something. I'm like, what is this something? So it's been quite good. It's been a time of introspective for me a little bit. And also I think it's time to regroup, because I shoot a lot and I work like long hours, and our hours are crazy. We're always out there. I mean, it's like ridiculous. At some point you can almost be in like a constant jet lag zone, because it's like 3 a.m. and then you don't sleep, and then it's really kind of almost adrenaline based sort of excitement kind of environment. So I think it's been quite good just to take a step back and say, okay, well, now what is it that I want to do, and where is it that I want to be, and what is it that I want to shoot, and what creative projects do I have coming up, and am I ready for what I believe is going to be a windfall of work and opportunities when this lifts, because everybody's going to want to work, and everybody's going to want to get product out there, and it's going to be busy, like really, really, really busy. And I feel that I can already feel like the energy it's building. So it's like, take a break and be ready for action.
I absolutely love it. When you, and I had my wife really saying to me, you love it. Anyway, but with regards to it, is that there was obviously some big discussions about, should we be doing something? Should we be, creating and creating, or should we be relaxing and not enjoying the time? I mean, it's a time that you actually can't work. You just have to sit at home and kind of reevaluate or evaluate and strategize. And so what I loved is what you were saying. There's creators that took this time and they just went flat down and tried to do a whole lot of stuff. And then there were some creators that said, you know what, this is time for me to reflect and get to know what's, where, and reposition, or what I'm going to be doing moving forward. So I love that you said that. The other thing I wanted to ask you, and you also mentioned the creative side of things. It's going to get busy. I do believe it is going to get busy. I'm really excited for it to get busy.
It's going to be so busy. And that's the thing. Like like you can't buy into the negativity. I feel very strongly about that. Like that's like a life motto of mine across the board. It's like what you think about, you bring about. So, and I believe that wholeheartedly. So I think that like it's really important to kind of stay positive and stay focused in terms of what it is that you do. You know, if you, whatever, you know, side you're broken out into, if it is, for example, like a YouTube channel or, you know, being more of an educator or whatever it is, just make sure that I think that that's what you want to do and you're going to continue with that. You know what I mean? So it's not just like, oh, it's for, you know, 3 months and then stop. It's focused. I'm quite focused.
I love, yeah. I really enjoy that you say there, what? Think about, what's it?
You think about, what you think about.
I love that.
That is like a life motto of mine. So, and that's, it's really, I feel like it's really true. And that's for good things and for bad things. So it's like, and especially in what we do in terms of what our work, because obviously there's a lot of competitors and there's a lot of people that are really, really, really good at their job. So I find it's really important not to, you know, you can't, you've just got to sort of stay on your path, appreciate, you know, how good everybody else is, but just, you know, be true to what it is that you're trying to do and what you're trying to say. And I think as long as if you've got your voice, I think it makes a very big difference in your work. And I think, you know, if you've got that, you're a step in the right direction of where you want to be in any creative world, photography, graphic design, whatever it is. Yeah.
Your passion is just phenomenal, and it drives me. I get so excited when I get another person. You know, it's very seldom that you get to people and your passion's driven straight through. I mean, this COVID doesn't seem to have stopped you at all and, you know, hindered you in any circumstance. And, you know, that's what I think it is. It's that passion and that positive thinking. You have to keep that positive going. That negativity breeds negativity. Positivity breeds positivity. And you're just a shining example of that and that passion. And I see Craig Anderson's just messaged us quickly here. He said, congrats on the Italian job. Yeah, well done. That's awesome. Talk to me about that. Tell us a little bit more.
It's so exciting. In fact, it was something that kind of happened now during this time where I got an email from this great agency, and you know, it was such a like it's been such a strange time, and I was like, what is this all about? So that's really exciting because everyone knows how much I love Italy. So that's amazing. So so it's a great agency, and they do a lot of celebrities and they do a lot of portraits, which is something which it's a very strong part of my business, and it's something that I really really love, along with the fashion stuff as well. But like, I love doing influencer work. Like, I love working with celebrities. Like it's my best day. It's such a cool vibe. I did Mini Glamini this year. It was amazing. We had so much fun. It was just incredible. So so I'm really excited about that. So I'm going to be bouncing between Cape Town and Rome. Oh my God.
Well, can you believe it? Huh? Jet setter of note. I mean, in this time.
So it's really exciting. It's amazing. So yeah.
What do you think? No, brilliant. I mean, what did you hear more or less how they discovered you, or I mean, what?
I'm a very active marketer. In terms of like, I'm a creative director first, and then I was a photographer. So for me, I'm very active in terms of my marketing and in terms of that kind of part of my world. Like, I generally I won't just rely on something like Instagram. Everyone who knows me sees me. I'm very busy on lots of different platforms, and I'm very active in terms of like getting our work out there and you know, getting published all over the place. And these things are like, they're really really important. I think it's like, you can't just like focus on like one channel and be like, okay, well, you know what, I'm going to, you know, put up a few Instagram posts and hope for the best. I think it's something that you just have to consistently work at every single day. You know, it's like overnight success, the best 10 years of my life, you know. And I think that's where it kind of like, a lot of the time people, especially, you know, you kind of like, it's like, oh my gosh, you know, you came from here or you came from there, or, you know, what, just started photography like 5 minutes ago, like, and you hear, it's like, no, I've been working on my craft and my creative craft for the last 20 years of my life. I mean, that doesn't look it because I look so young, but alas, you know, it's kind of like one of the things where it really is. And I think that's really, really important. It's important to say, okay, I'm not just going to do Instagram, and I'm not just going to do Facebook. I'm going to see where it is that my marketing needs to be. And firstly, I'm going to know what I'm shooting, who I'm shooting for, and who are my clients. And that's really, really important. And I think that's a lot of things that photographers especially don't have a handle on. It's like, if you can tell me who your top 5 clients are, who you can go to tomorrow, those are the people that you need to market to. You need to go to where they are. And for me, it's obviously for fashion and whatever. It's for me, it's a lot of it's international. So I mean, my work is, or our work, should I say, my team's work. And we've been extremely lucky, and we've had a lot of incredible publications over the last 2 years. It's been amazing. It's just like sometimes every now and again when you're having a bad day or something and you get an email and you're like, oh my God, it's incredible. You know, like what is going on? It's like, I'm so happy. And it's especially like Beyonce. So I remember with Beyonce, we did the AFI project. And like you can get onto Beyonce, you can get like lost in like how good the work is, right? And
amazing work.
Oh no, it's like everything is so good. Like, and you're up against everybody in the world. People shoot for it's just like every single person in the world in terms of like Harper's Bazaar and whatever. You're putting your work out there, and it's like it's so stressful. And I actually put up my first project, and I started crying. It was like ridiculous. I phoned my best friend, and I'm like, I can't put the work out there. It's not good enough. Da da da. I mean, that work has had 3 blue ribbons. It's had just thousands and thousands throughout the world, and it's like. So it's sometimes it's such a difficult thing sometimes to almost like take yourself out of a situation and say to yourself, okay, I'm not going to compare, because that's for me, that's what I do anyway. I'm like, you know, it's not as good as, or, you know, we don't have the brands, or it's so difficult. I'm competing with a photographer who is shooting in Rome, for example, or is shooting with Dolce & Gabbana and Chanel and, you know, this, you know, supermodel who that's all she does. And so, you know, it's kind of like you almost like can get yourself, well, I can get myself into like a little bit of a tiz. So I think it's quite important just to work through that. So for me, it really is. It's about knowing who your clients are, knowing what it is that you want to shoot, and knowing where it is in terms of like how you're marketing. So, and I think that's really important. Like if you can just write down on a piece of paper tonight before you go to bed, who are my top 5 clients, your entire life will change. It really will, because again, it's just about focus. It's like, you know, 5 clients.
You know what's interesting is I see here Duncan Frew. Thanks, Duncan. 2 amazing people. Ingrid, more than you, Steve. I love it. Duncan's awesome. So with regards to that, it's interesting thread and this is what I wanted to also get through this show, is the interesting thread is that the creators that I've had on the show so far, the one thread that they seem to all have, and is that, including yourself, is that you constantly looking at your work and trying to improve it, and you kind of go, it's not good enough yet. It's not good enough yet. You kind of on that constant search to get that perfect image, that perfect, you know, being better. And it's from video to stills to pretty much any content creator that I've met. That's kind of one of their driving forces, is that wanting to be better, wanting to be. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the best. Is it a competitive thing, do you think?
I am definitely quite a competitive person, just generally speaking, which can be good and can be quite bad as well. Can lead to a lot of OCD-ness and a little bit too much of maybe just work in my life. I don't know, maybe that's good, maybe it's bad. It's hard to say. I suppose depends your perspective of life. But you know, I do I like to succeed, and I like to I try and push myself as hard as I can. You know, I will be the first one up in the morning, and I will stalk anyone who I think that I would work in my team, even if they won't speak to me now. Like after 6 months, trust me, they're speaking to me, and we're good friends, and we're going for coffee. You know what I mean? Like, so that's how I will sort of choose my team, and my team is very important to me. My team is everything, because in what I do anyway, it's not necessarily about like going out and having, doing one emotional image with, a portrait session, for example. We tell stories, we create environments, we create, enchanted sort of, just experiences, if that's what you can call them. So it's important. For me, it's important. It's important, my stylist, my makeup artist, all of these people, it's really important. And I need to know that when they come, it's kind of like we're not looking at Pinterest, we're not looking at other people's work, we are creating. And that for me is, I feel, first and foremost. So what is so important in terms of what we do is we do not look at other people's work, and it's when we start something, we start it from scratch. It's like here is our venue, here is our whatever it is story that we're trying to tell, because it really is, it's about stories. Well, for me anyway, for what I do, it's about stories. Except when I do advertising, then it's not so much. Then it's about like, did I bring my light meter?
I love that. So I've just put up your website so you can have a look while we're busy talking about these stories and the creative side of what you're doing. The other thing that I also picked up and I also want to emphasize is the hard work that goes into it. I mean, a lot of content creators believe that shoot some great stuff, put it out there, and it will work. And I'm now jumping onto the YouTube side of things and learning a lot. I've got some great creative friends and people that are helping. And it's actually so much work, from analyzing the title that you're using to the tags you're using and obviously how you pull things together. And it's just great to hear. It's not the best thing to know that you have to work hard on so many different spheres to do it. But that's what it is.
And it's for me, it's about capturing a story. It's about capturing a moment. If you're working with obviously your portrait session, it's kind of like trying to reach through a facade and capture a person. And that can be, I think, the technical challenge, if you want to call it that, with an influencer, with a celebrity, because they have a certain way in which they interact with the world. And with all the portrait sessions that I've shot, like the best thing afterwards is I get all these amazing images and they're like, I've never had a photo shot of me like this. And that to me is like, that means that image worked well, because here you've got someone who's been shot by millions of people. We haven't had a lot of time, whatever. They have their like go-to poses and whatever, and they come to you afterwards and they're like, this is the most incredible photo I've ever had taken of myself. So that is in a portrait session, and it's all about psychology. And I feel like psychology is something that, again, is not spoken about a lot in photography. We talk a lot about like, what lenses are you using, or what lighting are you setting up, are you doing, like, whereas like I am like, okay, well, what is the psychology of the shoot? Like, how are you interacting with your subject? And for me, that is really, really, really important. And I feel that like that is where the emotion comes from. And I'm talking about, like, it doesn't matter if it's a beauty shoot or it's a it's the shoot that we're doing in Kenya. I mean, Kenya, that fire shoot did Beautiful. So well, and we had a Kesh, and she turned out to be this amazing model that walked for Milan and all the biggest brands. But that was her first shoot. It was her first story in terms of the fact that of her thing that we shot together. And she was young and nervous. This beautiful gazelle. She's amazing. She's just incredible. And like, if you can get that out of someone who's like their first shoot or whatever, if you can get these incredible images that end up on the cover of a New York magazine, like, I think that is something which we should talk about a little bit more, is how do you work with psychology? And ultimately at the end of the day, that was one light, one lens. I didn't even have an assistant. It was like, I didn't have I made a friend with this amazing model agency owner, Jerome, because I had no assistant. So here I was down a canyon. I was like, please, would you mind holding my light? So anyway, that's how I rolled the whole day. It was kind of crazy. But yeah, so, and at the end of the day, we had this incredible story. And this, for me, it was just like, all of a sudden, it's like you're getting this out there, and now people are interested about what you're doing because they want to talk about it, and they want to know like who are these people and who are the designers, and I'm so passionate about that, because like we have such great talent in Africa, like we really, really, really do, and like I'm so proud of the fact that the work that has done really well has always been work that's been African designers, African talent, African teams. Like, I think that's incredible. And we've had covers, and we've got another cover coming up now in September, which is really exciting.
I love it. Congratulations.
Excited. Yay! I love covers. Covers make me happy.
This is the passion, you see. I love the passion.
Covers like, okay, yay. So that makes me really happy, and I think that's really important, like psychology of what it is that you're doing. It's yes, obviously the technical side of thing has to be on point. Like, don't go to gunfight. Don't go to a gunfight with a knife or whatever. I mean, I suppose it's a little what's it called? Like, it's like a bit of an aggressive sort of saying, but it's like it really is, because almost a little bit of what we do, and we're going into war. I mean, we're going into battle. We're going into an environment that's we have a limited amount of time. I can shoot looks in like 20 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, done, gone, next one out. You got to get going, lighting conditions. Thank you, South African sun. I mean, isn't it just the best ever? But it is what it is. We don't have this beautiful, sky that's gray the whole time. It's like 12 o'clock on a roof. You got to make it work. How are you going to do that? That's a technical part. That is your job. My job is to know, from a technical perspective, if I don't have like a team of 30 people that can scrim it and whatever for me, how am I going to make this work with one light and my, no assistant, and still get a new cover? And I think that is where people kind of like, sometimes we'll look at my work and be like, oh, you've got such a big team or whatever. Like, no, we're not like that. We're renegades. We do our own thing. We're small. We're like, so we're just going to do it.
So you're not the Annie Leibowitz of South Africa, eh?
Oh, maybe one day. Come on, please.
I'd love to meet her. Let me tell you.
I'll probably still be like carrying my lights around or whatever. Like in Cape Town, we get a lot of assistants here. So like they get really confused with me and they're like, why are you carrying your lights around? I'm like, because I want to. I don't really know how to deal with this. It's like, what do you mean you're going to capture? What is this capture person? It's like, you're touching my computer. What are you doing? So it's been a bit of an adjustment period for all of us on the team.
I love it. There's so many questions that I want to lead off on this. But no, that's the thing, is that obviously I'm definitely going to have you back on, but I want to get some of the key things. And I mean, you've answered some amazing questions through what you're doing. And I mean, I hope everyone that's watching is just seeing the true passion and what goes into it. It's hard work, but it's passion that drives successful people. I mean, so I want to ask you, and it's just something I have to ask because I know that with my next time they're going to have you on the show, we're going to move on to some other things. But I want to know, firstly, who is Ingrid Alice? How do you say your surname, by the way?
Irsigler. Ingrid Irsigler. Yeah. In fact, I had to use my second name because no one can pronounce Irsigler. But now it gets really confusing because now it's like, they're like, are you Ingrid Irsigler? Exactly that. How do you pronounce it? And in fact, for a while, I actually changed my Facebook page to like from Ingrid Alice to Ingrid Irsigler, and I got like all this kind of like hate mail, like, who are you and why did you take over Ingrid Alice's page? And then I was just like, oh my gosh, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I know, because I went on and had a look in.
Yeah, so Ingrid, so who am I? I am in pursuit of magic. Like, that is me. Like, I am constantly in pursuit of magic. That is, I love this job so much. I am so grateful for every single day that I wake up and I get to do this because like, it's like, I can't explain it to you because for me, it's like, people say to you, like, how do you love your job so much or whatever? Like, I consider myself to be the luckiest person in the entire world. Like, I really do. Like, we travel to amazing places and we shoot incredible things and we work with incredible people. And it's like a dream job. Like, it really is. I mean, yes, it's hard work, and yes, there are bad days, and yes, sometimes you wear the wrong shoes down a canyon, and you learn those lessons, and sometimes you cry and whatever. Sometimes you do leave your light meter at home or whatever the situation is, when you have to shoot something really technical and complicated. But it's one of those things. It's just, I think it's the most magical job in the entire world, and I'm so grateful to be able to do it because it's creative. It's just like you're creating stories, and that's for me what I want to do. Or you're showing a part of a person that has never been seen before, and that's what I love doing. That's what makes me happy.
So, would you say are you an introvert or an extrovert, or were you an introvert becoming an extrovert, or have you always been kind of an what are you?
I don't know. I love people. I love shoot days. Like, shoot days are my absolute best. Like, my worst is having to sit in front of my computer for hours and hours on end. It's like, I'll do it, but like let me go out there and be with people. Like, I love that kind of environment. I'm good in that environment. Like, that's, I think, one of my skills. One of my skills is being able to manage, kind of an environment like that with a lot of people and etc. Because I was saying, I'm a creative director first. So I think that for me, that is something where I shine. Like, when I came to Cape Town, I met with one or two agencies, and they were like, "You won't get any work done here. Your work is too this and it's too that and it's whatever." And they asked me that. They were like, "Who are your 5 clients?" And I told them who my clients were. And the irony was, actually, in December, I shot for about 3 or 4 of the people who I kind of named off in that first meeting. So it's like, I'm very aware of what my work of who my work appeals to, and so great, because like in Cape Town, obviously with advertising, I came from fashion and then moved to campaign work because that's just more the work here. And it's so different. It's such a different vibe. It's such a different environment. You've got all these creative directors and executive creative directors and 30 people. And you don't even see what you're shooting. You've got a screen at the back there that 500 people are standing around, and you're just like, okay, well, let's go. It's like, okay, fine. It's a mad environment. It's like totally different to my fashion sort of little family, and we go off and we create beautiful stories, or with Paul Liza Gang or Karen or whatever. It's kind of a different thing. But I think I'm good at that. I think it's good to be good with people. But with that said, I'm very happy to introvert for an entire weekend. Like, I'm not always the best at going to parties and stuff like that, but I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to get out there.
Me too. Okay, so that we have in common. And tell me, where do you think your big break was? I mean, so to me, I mean, I'm reading you, I'm looking at a dreamer, I'm looking at, someone that looks into the future. But to get that down there's a lot of creators that are brilliant, but they're not making it. What was your defining point? When did you make it, did you feel?
Well, I don't know if I've made it. I mean, I suppose it depends on what your definition of success is. I mean, my definition is I want to be a working photographer, and I want to work. And I want to have, to a certain degree, a lot of the creative control. That's when I'm super happy. But with that said, obviously, that's not always capable. So if I'm, the advertising work is really good money and stuff. So, we do it and we just go in there with being able to do a good job. In terms of my big break, I didn't really even know that I was going to be a photographer. I was creative director for a long time. I was creative director for Guardian for 7 years when I was younger. And I was freelancing, and somewhere along the line, I ended up in Boracay, and I was like, I need something different in my life. I was in my late 30s, actually. And I had this like sort of email that came through, and I was like, you know what? I've always been with a camera in my hand since I was about 5 years of age, because my dad used to love photography and whatever. So
that's where it came from.
Okay. Well, I mean, literally, I was a kid. Like, he had a Polaroid camera, and it used to drive him mad that I would spend my entire life with this Polaroid camera, using all of his films. So I've always had it, and like in hindsight, I wish I'd like kind of got to it sooner. But then I have a conversation with a lot of people, and they're like, "But would you have been able to do the work that you do now if you hadn't had, the experience that you had?" So, and I think that that's kind of like an interesting way of looking at it. But I remember I went on the first day of this sort of, I don't know, part-time classes or whatever, and the lecturer was like, "You're going to shoot fashion." I'm like, "Don't be ridiculous. I don't even like people. I'm going to do food and interiors." I'm not going to tell a lie. My food's kind of shaky. Like, it's okay, but I mean, there's definitely better food photographers out there, like 100%. Like, I'll try. Like, I'll be like take over there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will give it my best shot. But it's, there's a very different idea. It's a different kind of mindset that shoots amazing, interiors and amazing food. It's very, I'm not that person.
I know it.
Put me down a canyon, and then we'll make it work. In terms of, I suppose, my big break, the first series that kind of did well was Midsummer Night's Dream. So that was just a project that I worked on, and I had stalked this amazing stylist called Karen, and she is incredible, and she's a good friend of mine, and she is just amazing. I'd stalked her for about a year, I'd seen a shoot that she'd done, and I'd be like, I really want to work with her, but she's like industry Dorian or whatever, and I mean, I'm nobody. So eventually, she kind of like, we shot this together, and we had this set of amazing images, and that did really well. It randomly, I'd uploaded it to, I think, Beyonce, and I think there's another platform which I use a lot. So it's called Kavar. Never know how to pronounce it. It's amazing. So if you're an aspiring person who wants to get published, like, that is your platform. That and Beyonce. I will talk those two till the end of the world. Like, Instagram's fine, but those are your go-to places. So I suppose that was kind of like a little sort of thing.
Was this a Was this a
yeah. And it was amazing, and that was kind of, I think, quite style defining in terms of where my work sort of went after that, because it was just something that I like to do. I was like, this is where I feel most comfortable, waking up at 3:00 in the morning and going to, a river and standing over that was kind of, I think, quite style defining from there. And I think it won like a New York Fashion and Beauty Award. So it was like totally random. And then I was like, that's amazing. And then I couldn't shoot for about a year after that, because I was like, I'll never be able to do anything anywhere close to that, like no chance. And then I just started doing some tests, and we had some more work published, and I started, building sort of everything. And then one day, this amazing guy called Paul Isaac phoned me, and he said to me, what are you doing? What are you doing next week? And I'm like, nothing. So he's like, do you want to go to Kenya? I'm like, yes. He's like, there's no budget. We can't afford assistance. I'm like, it's fine. Don't worry. I'll do it. And that was, and Paul, he's the most incredible creative director. And the work we've done together, we did AFI, we did Botswana, we did Kenya together, Miss South Africa. He's the most incredible creative director. He has a vision, and he has like a vibe in terms of where the world is in terms of trends, and that just kind of works. Like our relationship in terms of from a creative perspective, it just kind of works. He's like, hey, we're gonna do like Afro-Asia, it's like really cool and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? He's like, I don't know, but what do you think it means? So then off we'll go, and we'll come back with some ideas and locations, and then 3 days later he has 100 images.
Just like that.
Just like that. Literally just like that. Somewhere in the middle, Karen does spend a lot of time sewing things at night. I don't know.
It's too great. I see Katya jumped on, and she said, loving the chat. I always look forward to seeing the new work you post. Keep it up. Keep up the great work, Ingrid. So that's from Kat. And Tumelo is also saying, well done, Ingrid. And Emmy came on. He said, how do you choose your colors?
The interesting thing about my work is, even though it's very colorful, if you go into any of the actual kind of sort of sets, let's call it the set of work, like there's a very strong color between every single project that you've got. I sometimes do break the 3-color rule. Somebody once told me there was a 3-color rule. I'm like, what are you talking about? What is the 3-color rule that you speak of? Like, this makes no sense to me. Like, and then I got really stressed about that, and then I was like, oh my god, I have to do everything in 3 colors. Anyway, so I don't do that anymore, so that's really good. But again, like, those are my dogs in the background. I'm so sorry.
I love it. No, that's part of the love.
Sorry about that. This is Max and Winter. Sorry about that.
You can't see them.
Max. Well, white
I'm
wolves.
an animal person, so I'm all good.
So how do I choose my colors? It's really just comes with the projects in terms of what we're doing. Like, I think I'll start generally more with the location, and then kind of go from there. Or it's actually not even a location; it's an idea. Everything is about ideas. Like, if you don't have an idea and you don't have if people can't relate to something, they can't. It's just a pretty picture, And I think that is something that I really want to drive home to photographers, because, I mean, obviously coming from a creative director perspective, it's, for me, everything is about story. It's like, you might not have the best gear, or you know what, I've seen some of the best photography at the moment I see is with like a 35mm and an old, it's something which you can buy for $5 or $6 grand secondhand, and you see people are doing amazing things with it, but it's a great story and it makes sense and people can relate to it. And people can relate to Midsummer Night's Dream. If it's just 5 or 6 images of a girl in a boat, can people relate to, and I think that that's really, really important for me anyway. Sometimes I reverse engineer them, but, alas. That's why I'm a director. Because without a story, you've just got beautiful images, and people really want to feel emotion. If you can get emotion, whatever it is, whether it's happy emotion, whether it's sad emotion, just emotion. For me, it's escapism. There's a lot of escapism in my work. It's like I want to be there. I want to be over there. I want to be the girl on the boat, or I want to be this cool part of this cool pack in like Chinatown walking down the street, or I think that that's relatable in terms of the bigger picture. I think so.
I love it. And there's another creative on this side. Martini's also got some amazing work, and she's loving it that side. Ingrid, I've got so many questions to ask you, but I've run out of time with regards to it. But I definitely want to get you back onto the show, if you don't mind, and obviously to doing some other things with you. So, but before we go, I want to also. So we're talking about what made you, what your break was. Where are you? Where do you see yourself? Where would you love to be in the future? I'm not a big one for saying the next 5 years or something like that. But what is your absolute goal? Where do you want to be?
Next 5 years out my house. Please, somebody let me
that's the
out.
goal.
At the coffee shop. Please, can I just go to the coffee shop? I see myself.
I'm feeling you.
Honestly, like again, I never expected to be where I am now. So I think if I could just have a bigger goal in terms of like what it is I want to do, I want to work for Dolce & Gabbana. I want to travel the world. I want to, continue to do the kind of things that I do and work with incredible people and create amazing images. And I want to be a working photographer and being paid for it. And the business side of things is something which, again, I didn't get to talk about tonight, but I have a lot of opinions on the business side of things.
We have to do it. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that like for me, it's just about continuing to be a working photographer. And I think that is, if you can get that right and you're getting paid, good money and whatever the situation is, because that's important because, we provide a good service. So it's really, we provide something that is, services in need and we're problem solvers. So we need to continue to do that and, continue to be a working photographer, hopefully, maybe with Dolce & Gabbana, you never know, although it's hard to say, but obviously, that would be, I don't know if that would be the dream or the goal, but sometimes it's also just nice just to work with local designers or people that your good friends. And I think that for me that's my aim, is just to keep working. To keep working and to keep getting out there and,
Get out the house.
Yes.
Ingrid, thank you so much for your time. I really would love to chat to you for another 2 hours, but we definitely going to catch up on the business side of things, and also want to catch up on obviously reaching your goals and how you reached your goals. Because like you're saying now, to be able to shoot for D&G, there's going to be steps that you put into place to get there. It's not just, okay, one day I'm going to do it. And I know you're that type of person now, and obviously what I've learned here is that you've got that structure in place that, this is how I'm going to do it and this is where it's going to go.
You know what, there's always, I suppose, Gary Player used to say, like, there's a little bit of luck in everything. But I used to be a show jumper when I was a kid, and like the harder you work, the luckier you get. But I do think there has to be a little bit of balance. And I do. There has to be like a clear focus. I know with what I do, there's a clear focus goal in everything that I want to do. Somewhere along the line, I think to myself, okay, geez, that was so lucky, and I'm so grateful. And I am, like, I do consider myself to be so lucky and so grateful. But at the same token, like, it's just about continuously improving your craft and being, business orientated, not just like a creative, like maybe one day if I can do this, that would be great. I'm like, no, you know what? The fashion industry in South Africa is not huge. It's not enormous. We don't have a lot of clients here. So, we have to shoot a little bit of advertising, which can be fun, and it has its moments. But I love the fashion stuff. So for me, obviously the next step is to, maybe go work in Italy and Rome a little bit and see, what kind of clients I can work with there and how you can broaden your market there. Unfortunately, the reality is you're probably not going to end up working for Dolce & Gabbana if you just stay in South Africa. Not that I'm saying that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's like people have lives and whatever. I just don't really have a life. So it's like, this seems like a good idea. I'm just like, where can I go that I can take my dogs?
No. I love it that you like that.
This is Winter and Max.
What's her name?
Today, because I don't have a dog sitter. I have Winter and Max, and I've got a new little one here called Bugsy Malone, which is a little dog.
No, I've got 5 dogs, 3 cats. So I hear you with regards to animals. And tell me, what's one word of advice for creators out there that, it's hard times now, but anyway, it's hard. What advice would you give to people out there that are now, they're wanting to make it? What would you tell them to do?
You know what? Just try and focus on like the other side of the creative brain, if that makes any sense. Like, know your 5 clients. If it's a one question that you should be able to ask is, who are your clients? Know who they are and get a little bit more business savvy with regards to quoting, with regards to contracts. I mean, not that contracts are not so much, but for me, it's about quoting. It's about your day rates. Like get smart with that, because the thing is, there is a lot of money to be made in photography. Like, there's 100%. South Africa, wherever it is in the world, like there's great day rates. People are getting paid really good money and stuff like that. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be one of those people. There's no reason why you shouldn't have work. There's no reason why you should be sitting, being stressed or whatever about paying the bills at the end of the month. Get business orientated as well as the creative side, because the business side of things, the marketing side of things, how you interact with people, these things are as important as doing great work. It's all well and fine to do great work if it sits in your computer for the rest of your life. It's like, how are you going to get it out there? How are you going to get published? How are you going to get the next step in terms of like whatever it is, getting a different agency or whatever? Or how are you going to overcome the bad days when I came to Cape Town and they were like, you're never going to get any work here? I mean, that was such a stressful thing for me. I was like, oh my gosh, what the hell am I doing here? So it's like, how are you going to actually deal with that? And how are you going to find the right person who is going to market your work? And how are you going to find the right agencies that maybe are a bit smaller, a bit more boutique, but you can become their most valuable photographer if you deliver a service? And I think that's, for me, what I always try and do. It's like a lot of the work that I got, or the repeat work that I got through the agencies, it was always agencies that were like, okay, you know what, like, oh, cool, it's Ingrid. You know what, we've put her on the Saatchi, whatever it is, WhatsApp group. It's like, hey, how you doing? I was in the elevator the one day and got chatting, and they're like, oh my gosh, okay, you're on the Saatchi group as like one of our preferred photographers. I'm like, that's amazing. It's like, I've just moved to Cape Town and there was that person who told me I'd never get any work. So it's like, and I think it's like that kind of mindset in terms of like moving forward with your career, because let's be honest, it's a career and it's not going to happen overnight. I don't believe it is. I think that any kind of star or whatever it is, or be it musician or whatever, if they're 16, they've been practicing from the time they were 5. So, just be realistic about that, have your goals in place and be just a little bit more smart about that and get confident. You know what I mean? Like, don't forget to charge. Just do it.
That's the 2 things I want to bring up. Did you ever watch Pretty Woman? Have you ever watched Pretty Woman?
Yeah, of course.
So when she walks into the clothing boutique and they won't serve her, and she leaves, and she comes back and she's got the handful of bags. She goes, big mistake. Big. It's
like I just shot 6 of the biggest campaigns in Cape Town in the last 4 weeks. Thank you very much. When a photographer, when it's that So and I don't mean that in like a positive way.
Not at all.
You are going to have people tell you that your work's not good enough, or whatever the situation may be, or the style's wrong, or this and that, or the next thing. But as long as you know your clients, know what you're worth, and just get out there and just do it. There's nothing that stops us from doing what we have every single platform in the world. Like, we have the opportunity to put our work out there. So just do it. And you know what? So what if it's not the best and something goes wrong? do another one and make it better. You know, it's not always going to be amazing.
Absolutely, and I can't agree with you more with regards to it. It's exactly what I wanted to hear for them. Last thing I'm going to ask you, and it's a little thing that I do at the end of all my shows. I want to ask you to give me one word that describes yourself, one color, and one animal.
Oh my goodness! So one color? Are you mad?
One word, one color, and one animal.
Seen my work. Okay. And I'm a Libra and I'm a wood rabbit. There are so many different sides to me. It's like I'm a spectrum of everything. It's like I will not be put in a box. Okay, one color. Okay. I'm gonna say rouge, like red and pink, because it's like pink in like So a mixture of red and pink. That would be rouge.
Okay, cool, rouge, yeah. Then then animal.
Animal. I love horses and whatever, but like I'm like a wolf person. Like for me, it's
wolf.
You know.
And then one word that describes you.
Enchanted, definitely enchanted. Like I'm like the magic fairy. I'm enchanted. I'm all about the magic. I'm all about creating pretty things, and I'm all about stories. So I'm enchanted.
So I've got your new stage name. Your new stage name is Enchanted Rouge Wolf.
Oh, I like that one.
You got a great name, actually, a really great name.
I'm gonna hashtag that. When I was in Kenya, the video guys, I made friends with them and stuff like that because needed some extra hands, assistance, and they were amazing. But they were like, "You're the hashtag sassy photographer." I was like, "Oh my word!"
But I see your networking side, and you're friends with everyone. So my Enchanted Rouge Wolf is your new stage name. I will be referring to you.
I'm going to get a T-shirt. It's going to be like this huge, big, very colorful, all the colors T-shirt, obviously, because I'm a rebel.
Brilliant. Shame. Craig Anderson said he's on his way. He had to leave, but he says thank you so much. And Martini says it's really inspirational. Oh, Ingrid, it's been brilliant chatting to you. I'm going to have to say goodbye now because I do want to keep some extra stuff. No, I want to keep some extra stuff for our next show. And I know that my battery's been out for about an hour, so I don't want to lose you before I lose you.
Business.
We'll chat business.
Excited and, just get out there. Stories, business, stop worrying. Gear's very important, but, I'm a nerd with gear, but get as worried about your gear as you are about your stories and about your invoices.
Business.
That helps. That will change a lot of lives.
Now, we're definitely going to be chatting to you again with regards to that. I want to get you on the show again as soon as possible. Have a great evening. Thank you again for being so inspirational and for all the work and your contribution. I love chatting to you, and really, thank you so much. All the best there to your babies. Take it easy. Bye.
Oh, my goodness. Bye.
Cheers. Bye. All right, ladies and gents, that was Ingrid, as she is absolutely phenomenal. Absolutely love chatting to her. You can see the passion that drives her in her creativity, in her work, in her business. And that's a relevant part that she brought up, is the business and the psychology behind business is incredibly important with regards to what you're doing and when you're doing it. And a lot of the time our creativity ends at where our business or the money stops or something like that. Sometimes you just have to push through. What I also picked up from her, apart from her passion and the creative side from her, is that you can hear that she says, charge for your work. She's obviously getting the money that she wants and she's earning what she wants, but she's also big with regards to networking. You'll see how she talks about, these friends, and she asked that person to help her with this. So again, it's also your network. And those she says 5 clients. She keeps talking about the 5 clients, which is really, really true. You have to know who your clients are. Sometimes we worry more about who the other photographers are that are critiquing our work and judging our work and judging us for what we're doing. But our clients are the ones that are helping us, that are putting food on our table, that are, supporting us through these difficult times. And it's the truth. I mean, I find some of my clients, and what was so interesting is they jumped on straight away, and they're willing to help And those are the people that you take care of, and those are the people that you build off and you grow from and grow with. Don't ever forget the people that helped you. I mean, that's the big thing. There's a lot of people that will stand on someone to get something else. Those people that are willing to help them, help you. It's a great way to be. So next week, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be chatting to Grant Norton. He is the CEO of Premium Brand Distributors that is known for Nikon as well as Sony. We're going to be talking about Premium Brand Distributors, but we will have separate talks with Nikon and Sony ambassadors separately. And then we are going to be chatting to a great creative as well. His name is Austin Malema. So I'm really excited to be chatting to him as well. He's got some amazing work working with celebrities. He's synonymous with regards to working with celebrities and the work he does. I've been wanting to chat to him for a little while as well. So another inspirational, passionate person. So yeah, we're going to have some fun. Emmy, thank you so much for joining. Those of you that did join, thank you for joining this evening. Please share subscribe to the YouTube channel. Obviously, this show keeps going depending on the people that are sharing, feeding back, and joining us and giving us their insights on what they like and what they want. So please make sure you join us. And if you are on Instagram, go and have a look at Through the Lens Show. I'm going to start posting some pictures there from our guests and some of the things that we're going to be doing. So make sure you have a look at that. And then obviously, if you are wanting to be part of the show, whether it's your company or yourself as a creator, we are chatting. There's people, I know that there's some brands from overseas that are looking at it. There's some creators from overseas. So you never know when your big break will happen. So give me an email. You'll see it's at the bottom there, ttlshow@segalstudios.com to connect with me. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the show. Leave me some feedback. Subscribe. Please go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, give me some feedback, share this love, and I hope you are all well and safe. Till next time, I hope you are staying creative and stay passionate and make sure you succeed in all that you do. Till next time, all the best. I'm Steven Segal, and this is Through the Lens. All the best.